The opportunity to be who you were meant to be. That is at the core of my campaign. And I never thought I was going to run. But like so many of you here, these last few minutes have been nuts and have turned into this unbelievable moment that's galvanized all of us and has put me right here now in front of you all. So I'm running for office because I believe that I have the passion and the experience that's going to lead us out of these dark days in Indiana. I've experienced firsthand, just as Jim told you, the power of collective action, of working together to solve seemingly impossible problems. So my parents, here's my mom and my dad, were both born in Europe. I know this part. My mom was born in a small town in the Netherlands, and my father was born in a small town in Austria. And during our childhood, they told us lots of stories. My sisters and I, they told us stories about what it was like growing up. How my mom's parents, that would be my Oma and Opa, opened their home to the folks that were fleeing their time, right? From Germany and Belgium and everywhere else they were fleeing. Mom said that they would start peeling potatoes right after breakfast because that's how long it took to prepare, how much food was needed for all the strangers and refugees that were going to be at the dinner table that night. My dad told me stories about the cruel and difficult life that his family faced in Austria, and they were occupied by the Germans at that time. He talked about how his village came together to take care of each other and share what they could. He said that they would actually hide food so that when the soldiers came, they could not find it, and that if a family did not have food, that they would then quietly make sure that they did. They took care of each other and never let their neighbors go hungry. So it's my mom and dad who, hold on, I'm gonna get there, who taught me the importance of family and empathy, that we have to care for each other. Because you are here and are present, I know each of you hold these values too. But in Indiana no longer represents my values or your values, and this is why I am running. Women's rights have been stolen in Indiana, and the extremists continue to hijack the State House and have passed one of the most extreme abortion laws in our country that virtually eliminates women's autonomy and how to make choices about her own body and her life. So how does this impact Illinois? The first week after Roe was overturned, Planned Parenthood here in Chicago reported that their normal caseload is 100 people per week. After Roe, it was 800. 800. Then Indiana passes their crazy bill, and Planned Parenthood is now reporting that they have a 3-week backlog for services because they're seeing women fleeing Indiana to come to Chicago to be taken care of. I can't imagine what that stress must be like, trying to find services, perhaps even coupled with the fact that there may be trauma involved in that pregnancy. And then we've got on top of it that there are Chicagoans who also need those services. So now that's impacting Chicago. So what is happening in Indiana has a direct impact on what's happening right here in Illinois. And then because of a total lack of accountability and reckless lawmaking, Indiana's gun laws has turned Indiana into the wild, wild west yet again. Legislators are repeatedly giving gun shop owners free passes. And here's an example. The Westworth Sports Store in Gary, Indiana is responsible for 20% of all the gun-related crime in Chicago. Let me say that again. 20% of all the gun-related crime in Chicago is connected to one store in Gary, Indiana. That store has been cited repeatedly by the ATF for breaking the law. But again, Indiana turns a blind eye, leaving Chicago to deal with Indiana's problem. On July 1 of this year, permitless carry went into effect. People in Indiana no longer have to carry a permit to get any kind of weapon. Further, police are not allowed to stop them and ask them about their open carry. So someone right now in Indiana can walk right down Main Street with an assault rifle and no one can stop them and ask them what they're doing. And it was just a year ago that the legislators actually tried to pass this. They called it permitless carry, and it did not carry. It was defeated. So what do? A year later, they renamed it. and it was called constitutional carry. And they buried inside of another bill, and then lo and behold, we now have permanent carry in Indiana. To further exemplify the gross negligence of this law, in 2021, 10,000 people in Indiana applied for permits to carry guns. A third of them were denied because of a record, felonies, and significant mental health issues. That no longer exists. Those 3,000 people are now allowed to carry guns, buy guns, and do whatever it is that they wish, and come right here into Illinois. So of course the GOP did surveys ahead of passing all of these laws and found that overwhelmingly Hoosiers don't support, Hoosiers, that's us in Indiana, we call ourselves Hoosiers, that we don't support this. The GOP went ahead and did this anyway, and so then you have to ask yourself, who are they beholden to? Because it's not Hoosier families. They're not thinking about us. So now I say, let's take a deep breath, right? Because it's overwhelming to hear what's happening about our laws and how it's impacting Chicago and Illinois, and then what's happening to Hoosiers, you know, what's happening to our families. It's a lot to digest, but we are intimately connected, and this is why I'm so grateful that our hosts were able to bring us all together so that we could have this moment together and to connect over these issues. I said it before, but I know that because you are here, we share these values of freedom, women's autonomy, and safe neighborhoods. So the next big question is, how are we going to do this, and what are we going to do? Well, let me tell you, at the launch that Jim and Jim came to, one of my dear friends, when she introduced me, said, I'm battle tested. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. I am battle tested, and you guys, I'm ready for this fight. We are going to unseat this opponent who represents the most extreme positions of the GOP, that they've adopted this playbook across, and let me tell you, they are not done. This is a slippery slope. They are just getting started. They have already shown us that they are coming for everything that they did not get this session. They're coming back in January, and that's what they're coming after. They want the rest of it. So this is why I'm running. This is it. So I need you, your friends, your neighbors, your family to help me to support my team so that we can get me into the State House in January. So together, I need us to donate, right? Together, I need you all to communicate with your friends. I need you to step in front of this banner, take a photo, and post it on your social media so that it amplifies the message, so that people understand just what is at stake. Because make no mistake, this is just the beginning. There is so much worse that is yet to come. And I thank you all for being here, and I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.